What is the biggest longest secret you've kept? My house was raided for child pornography. Agents came through, searched every room, collected every storage device and questioned me. I promptly said I would not talk without a lawyer. My wife was bawling. I told her to not talk without a lawyer. After about 4 hours all of the agents left with every electronic device. Then they handed me the warrant. Apparently my IP address was detected distributing child PRN. After counseling and a lot of communication, my wife and I agreed to not tell anyone about this. Not family. Not friends. No one. We moved from the house because it just made us uneasy being there. After 3 years of fighting with the agency, we finally got all of our devices back. The devices they took were the only copies of all of our photos. So it was one of the happiest days ever. It turns out one of our neighbors was using our Wi-Fi, which had an easy 8-letter lowercase password. Once they didn't find anything on our devices, they did a search of the neighbor. Not me, but my sister. When we were like 7, we would always play hide and seek, and she had a hiding spot that nobody could ever find except her, of course. It's been 10 years since and she still hasn't told me. She claims she has a plan to tell me at some point but won't reveal when. So until then, I'm hoping neither of us die an unexpected death. Edit. Check out Mirab23's reply to this comment to see my sister's response to this. It was actually my brother that broke my arm. Not my cousin. By marriage. Not blood. I didn't want my brother to get in trouble or feel bad because I knew it was an accident and I hated my cousin anyway. I loaned a bunch of books from the library in 2001 as a 7-year-old. Found them in my room 3 years later. My 10-year-old mind was convinced the cops would come looking for me cause of it, so I neatly disposed of the books in a manner that will ensure they'll never be found again. Unless someone cleans up the basement. Well, time to visit my parents. That my mother was abusive to me as a kid. I kept it for 22 years. I told my dad a few months back. I told him in anger because I blamed him for letting it happen. He truly didn't know the extent. She kept it well hidden. He then explained to me that he tried to protect me from her, and he did when he was around. He told me he'd been in an abusive relationship with her. She separated him from every friend and family member he had. She took his entire paycheck and wouldn't let him have a card. She told him he couldn't leave her because she'd never allow him to see me again. My dad's not perfect and he left me in dangerous situations, but he tried at least. And now both of our 20+ year secrets are out to each other. Edit. Thank you so much for all of the positivity and PMS, it's really made me smile today. All the sexual abuse in my family and some friends. For some reason I'm the person who knows about most of it. I'm tired of being the secret keeper. I killed my best friend's fish while watching it for her while she was on vacation. Then I replaced it with a fish that looked nothing like it and told everyone that they were crazy for thinking that it wasn't the same fish. Edit. It was accidental. And the fishes were the same type of fish, but they just didn't look the same. I also watched it for 2 weeks and it just happened to die on the last day. And to top it off, the fish that I bought to replace the other one died a week later. So concluding, RIP Jackie O'Connor. Yes. My half brother isn't actually related to me at all. Because my dad's ex-wife cheated on him and got pregnant. Everyone knows but my half brother. My parents have no idea that I didn't graduate college when I said I did. In the spring of my senior year, I overloaded and took 6 classes instead of 5. In order to graduate on time. My grandmother passed away that semester. And in the aftermath I was so depressed that I barely passed 5 of the classes and failed the 6th entirely. My parents aren't abusive. But I was living with them at the time and they would never have let me live it down. My school let me walk. So I just lied and told them I had finished. I already had a job lined up when I was supposed to have graduated. So I started working. And a year later I took an online course to finish my degree. My parents just think my diploma got messed up by the school. And that's why it was late. My parents don't know that when I was much younger, When I was time to eat dinner while they were out shopping, I was a defiant eater. My brother quietly threw my food out for me and saved me from being grounded. Edit. I come back 2 months later and how the FCK did I get so much upvotes? I am not deaf but I am hearing impaired and use hearing aids. About a year ago, I temporarily moved to a town in the United States and went into a market where a far too excited employee greeted me and I could tell she would never let up, so I pretended to be deaf so she'd let me be. I thought I'd move back home after a few months and only go there once or twice. It's been a year and they have the best fresh produce. I'm there all the time. She's learning sign language to talk to me. That my dad was cheating on my mom. I found out during middle school, beginning of high school, but kept it between my sister and me. We weren't sure what to do. Today my mom found out while fighting with my dad. The secret just came out of me when he walked away and she wanted to go after him. She was first upset that I had been dealing with that for 5-ish years. But later on she started to turn her anger about it towards me. Just laying in bed not sure how to continue. My parents have always fought since I was little and always put me in the middle of it, so I shouldn't be surprised. I f***ing hate it when parents treat their kids like they're free therapist confidants. Sending you virtual hugs. You didn't deserve that kind of shit and your parents are scummy for involving you in adult matters when it wasn't appropriate. I'm a male. And was sexually abused by an older boy, uncle's friend's son, when I was younger. Which resulted in my family being torn apart because my father was defending me in court. This is the first time I've ever said this publicly. My cheating ex-girlfriend cheated on her now husband with me when they started dating. My classmate in 6th grade is wiping his booger in his table. When I caught him one time, he pushed me to a corner and said in a light voice, "Don't tell anyone." I'm now at 20 years old and I kept his secret. I have a crush on my best friend. Me too. But she's my wife, so. That my partner's childhood dog didn't go peacefully. He died muzzled, screaming his lungs off, with the vet assistant lying on top of him. I took him in to be put down because his cancer had gotten so bad that he couldn't walk. He was so weak. There was no reason for her to pin him like she did. His last few moments were filled with the most blood-curdling shrieks of pain and fear. I never told him. When asked, I said that he slipped away peacefully. He thinks we don't go to that vet anymore because they were expensive. Edit for clarification. I think she was afraid of him. He was a big dog. Obviously scared. And screaming in pain when she wrenched his hind leg out to get the needle in there. He had cancerous tumors all throughout his body and pulling his leg hurt. So to keep him from struggling, she basically put her entire weight down on top of him as he died. His leg was turned out at a funny angle the entire time because he couldn't even straighten it with her weight on top of his body. FCK that vet assistant. My cousins, who I was good friends with growing up, don't know they have 2 half-sisters who are about 10 years older than them. My uncle got his college girlfriend pregnant, then bailed on her. He had twin girls and married and built a life. My uncle signed away his rights and she let him off with no support payments if the entire family cut contact. The twins reached out to my grandparents once they turned 18 and built a solid relationship with them. I found out when I was in college because my grandparents saw them regularly and told my brother. Because they wanted to make sure someone would pass along the word if when they passed away. My grandparents are gone now. My cousins are in their 30s and their sisters are approaching 50. I've known for 20 years and never said a word. I shoplifted in Nick when I was 6yo. That was 18 years ago. Well, it's not that big of a secret since it was just a bag of candy that I stole. Yes, officer. I had a crush on this girl for 4 years. Most other of my crushes get leaked in 3 months. But this one, no one knows it but me. Ha, those are rookie numbers. It's been 10 years for me now and still going strong. That the reason that me and my ex-GF broke up wasn't because we drifted apart. Or me moving to a different city for studying. Actually, her mother asked me to stop this relationship because we were from two different worlds. The crazy thing is that I understood it and took it for granted. A decision which I still regret sometimes. The secret that everyone knows except the OP. You mean the one where the earth is actually pyramid shaped? Someone I know has knocked up their girlfriend. They've only been dating for like 6 months. They are 19 and 20. She's already 4-5 months pregnant. Neither his parents or hers know. And he's never met her parents. Neither have stable employment. His parents are poor and would be financially ruined if they tried to help. She is an absolute freeloader. And quite frankly, both are lazy idiots who try to offload any of their responsibilities onto others. And would make terrible parents. Told my mom I went to the city with some friends. While my older brother was in basic training, around 1990, he sustained an injury to one of his feet. In the weekly letter home, he told us how it was a minor thing and he was recovering well. He sent me a second letter letting me know that, due to the doctor not taking the injury seriously, he nearly lost the foot. Everything was okay at that point. But he wanted somebody at home to know what was going on. Just in case. Our mother would have freaked out. So he sent me the info and told me to keep it secret. Under no circumstances were our parents to find out. About 15 or 20 years later, at a family Thanksgiving dinner, the subject of things we got away with as kids came up. I thought, surely he's come clean about this by now. And shared the story. Yeah. It was the first my mother had heard about it. She was not happy. My brother and I are both adults with careers and families. And we still got bawled out for it. That my ex-fiancé registered signage cheated on me with a co-worker. I keep it a secret for almost 3 years. But he did it again. I just found out this afternoon, so I'm about to tell the first co-worker's husband tomorrow. Update. Husband says he loves his son too much to do anything about it. They have 2 children BTW. Update. I move out tomorrow. I FK'd one of my brother's high school friends. Multiple times. And my brother has no idea about it. Edit. I cleared up my awful wording. That my mom smoked weed. I didn't bother keeping secret after it got legalized. I'm Canadian. I don't drink, smoke, or do drugs of any kind. I don't have a problem with other people doing it. It's just a personal preference of mine. My mom smoked weed for the entirety of my life. And I didn't realize till I was 13 when she told me because every once in a while I'd catch her smoking. And think it was a cigarette. And she wanted to make clear to me she quit smoking cigarettes a long time ago. But yeah, she smokes the dank leaf. It's weird. Going off to school in the morning and passing by your mom. Rolling a joint on the kitchen counter. The funny thing though is that my lifelong best friend's mom worked for the police and my mom made me promise to never tell him. Because he may snitch. So I told nobody. Till the day legalization happened, and now when people ask me why I don't smoke weed I say once your parents grow it in your kitchen, you don't really want to do it anymore. Mine is stupid, but I have so many questions. No one really knows how much I drink. I have tried to quit but at 8 AM now and I am already drunk. I was sober the past 2 days because I had to decide between PB&J sandwiches or alcohol. I hate hunger more than I hate sobriety. Today was payday, so you see where my money went this morning. Edit. I appreciate the support but either the alcohol or the withdrawals will kill me. This has been going on for 15 years now. I am just waiting for death to give me that sweet release from this life now. I'm a binge eater. Some days I eat junk food until I am in physical pain. Then I'll starve myself for days whilst feeling guilty. I get turned on by watching women get their hair cut. A slightly nicer one than most on this thread. My official wedding date is in a month. And while the wedding is as small as we can make it, there's still a ton of family drama that's about to happen. A lot of our family members are coming into town. Not all of them like each other. We got married last Friday. At the courthouse. A whim. We were originally there just to get our license. But decided. FCK it. Might as well do it now. It's a huge relief honestly. And it means that no matter what goes down next month I've had the exact wedding I wanted. Me and 3 cops in a town an hour from my hometown know that I should be in prison on a pretty big felony right now. Edit. Before anyone gets any ideas. It was an accident and the evidence vanished. Never got booked or documented. When my mother was pregnant with me, they did an ultrasound and found she was having twins. When they did another ultrasound a few weeks later, they discovered that I had reabsorbed the other fetus. Do I regret this? No. I believe his tissue has made me stronger. I now have the strength of a grown man and a little baby. Will seem like nothing compared to other people on here, but still. I'm not the fittest person in the world, but I can confidently say I'm more in shape than 90% of the general population. But I've recently come to terms with the fact that I like fat chicks. Not to the extreme, but enough to where people ask me why I date the women I do. Hey man, no worries, everyone likes different stuff. Some people like blondes. Others like idiots. Some like smart people. Drama people. Shallow people. Elephants. Scientists. Fit people, you know. E floats your boat. I accidentally left door unlocked when the family dogs ran away. When I was about 8 or 9 years old, I was playing on my iPad. After 30 minutes or less I got bored and started jumping on the couch. I accidentally jumped on my iPad and it cracked. I was so scared to tell my parents, so I was hiding it for like 3-4 months, and my parents were asking me, "Why don't you play anymore?" But I always answered, "I just don't want to." Nothing has made me feel older than reading when I was about 8 or 9 years old. I was playing on my iPad. My middle name. My real middle is Ian. But initials are JW. I am Jewish, so I told everyone my middle name was Hubert. Just so my initials spelled you now. All of my closest friends and cousins members believe me but have never double checked to ask my parents. I've kept this going 16 years and still going strong. Longest secret I've kept was the crush I had on a girl from kindergarten all the way until we graduated high school. She still doesn't know I had that crush and we've known each other almost 20 years. Biggest is probably my struggle with suicidal thoughts and self-harm. Some of my closest friends know but none of my family do. I just never could bring myself to tell them. I did tell my mom that I had gone through a depression, but she doesn't know just how bad things were. Edit. So I forgot to mention that this is a past issue. I haven't had any serious suicidal thoughts for maybe a couple of months, and even then it'd been a while before the last one. The last time I self-harmed was about the same time. I am in a significantly better place than I had been. But I still won't tell my family about it. Also, that being said, if you struggle with these issues, I beg that you talk to someone and get some help. You're worth it. Even if it's just a close friend. It helps to get some of that out. You can't fool me, Dad. My bastard son is actually my sister's. And he is the true heir to the throne. I haven't told anyone, not even my wife, because the king would have had him executed. I have kept this secret for 20 years. And I just hope that, if he ever learns this, he won't tell anyone. I'm trans. I had an affair with a family friend old enough to be my dad. Monica. Is that you? I ain't falling for that one. That I'm a emotional, soft-hearted guy. I just recently told my girlfriend that I too enjoy being the little spoon and I like to hear her say I love you first.